It's nearly here, guys. 3 days to go until the World Championship. So, of course, I've got to try and make my predictions. This is going to go horribly wrong, but let's just try and do this, shall we? And also, guys, we'll be predicting my Premier League lineup based on these predictions as well. So stay tuned till the end to see who I think will be in the Premier League next year. Let's get into this. So we've got the usual spreadsheet up as normal. Obviously, because it is such a big tournament, I've actually had to split it up. So we've actually got both halves, because normally you guys know I usually just do everything down one side, but I've had to do it this way because this is so many people. The 128 players, the biggest ever darts tournament, I think. Well, in the PDC anyway. Obviously, if you not include any of it, like the Open tournament, for like a closed qualified requirement tournament, it's the biggest one we've had ever. So yeah, big one. So yeah, I'm gonna try and go through this as quickly as possible because there's a lot of games to go through. I'll be starting off with the top half of the draw first, doing that, moving on to the bottom half, and then doing the final at the very end. I'm trying to fly through these quick as I can because there's so many to do. I will talk about some here and there that I think probably do need a bit more of explaining, but we'll get onto that in just a bit. So, starting off with Luke Littler, the world number 1 and defending champion, up against Darius Labanauskas. I mean, to be fair, Darius, he's a good player. Darius, he always turns over Ali Pali, but come on, I think Littler is going to win that one. Then we've got Mario van den Bogart up against David Davies, by far the best name at this tournament, 100% David Davies. He's chosen Ali Pali over Lakeside, which is definitely a big call. But obviously, you know, he thinks he's up for it, so fair enough to him, mate. But I mean, to be fair, I think Super Mario, he's got his 2 cards to defend. He needs to win this game. I think he beats David Davies in that one. Joe Cullen against Bradley Brooks. Joe Cullen barely in the top 32. Now he's literally clinging on to his seed, and to be fair, I think he will be the first seed to lose opening round game. I think Bradley Brooks will beat Joe Cullen at Ali Pali. I know Joe Cullen, he does alright at Ali Pali normally. He only really ever loses the close game, you know, like last couple of years against Garen Price and Luke Humphries. And to be fair, I think everyone thought he would lose to Vestal Nyman last year, and he didn't. So who knows? I think Bradley Brooks will beat him. No, I think Cullen's has not been at it all this year. Metasojevic against David Cameron. Again, David Cameron from Canada, obviously not to be confused with the old Prime Minister. To be fair, it's a close game to be fair, but I think Sojevic, he's got the experience. He'll have the crowd back in him as well. I think he probably beats David Cameron. Damon Hedder against Steve Lennon. Damon Hedder's now just inside the top 16, which is crazy. Again, a player who doesn't really do too well on the TV stage, hasn't really had a run at the World before either. Against Steve Lennon, who needs to keep all of his tour card as well. It's a big game, but I think Hedder probably will beat Lennon in that one. Van Barneveld up against Stefan Belmont. Again, a really close game to be fair. It could go either way. But again, I probably would back Barney to get the job done in that one. Rob Cross against Cole Decker. The Battle of the Bald Men. To be fair, I know people could probably going to be like, well, Rob Cross probably could lose this game against Cole Decker. And to be fair, he could. I think Cole Decker is definitely a better player than what people realise. But I can't see past Rob Cross. I really cannot. I think in a longer-ish format, I think Cross probably gets the better of Cole Decker. Ian White against Mervyn King, definitely one of the more interesting opening round games. Again, Merv King back at Ali Pali. It's been a couple of years since he was been at the tournament, so it's good to see him back. But to be fair, I trust Ian White probably does get the job done there. Chris Dobie against Zhao Cheng Zong. Zong, to be fair, he always does quite well at Ali Pali, to be fair to him. He's not a bad player at all. But then again, Chris Dobie, Ali Pali seems to be his bread and butter. It's the one TV tournament where he actually does well in, Chris Dobie. So I think it would be quite foolish to go against him there. Again, Andrew Gilding against Cam Crabtree, a pretty difficult one to predict here. I'm not quite sure how this one will go, to be fair. I think, although Gilding's more than capable of easily beating Crabtree, I just think Crabtree overall, right now, is probably feeling more confident than Gilding. He's probably ready to go. I'll probably back Crabtree to beat Andrew Gilding in that one. Luke Woodhouse against Boris Kirchmar. Kirchmar as well, obviously turned down Lakeside to play out in Japan, which didn't go very well for him. So he hasn't had the best preparation for going into this tournament. But I mean, again, Luke Woodhouse, I felt like a big TV tournament run at Ali Pali is coming around the corner for Woodhouse. So I probably would back him to beat Boris in that one. Martin Lukman against Marcus Hopp. Again, a pretty interesting opening tie. Martin Lukman just had an absolute horror year. Obviously, since he was in the Grand Slam final last year, he hasn't kicked on. And to be fair, he's been struggling a bit more than Lukeman, I think, overall. So I think on his return to Ali Pali, I'll probably back Max Hopp to beat Martin Lukeman, to be fair. I think that's probably not a bad shout, to be honest. Going Price against Adam Gavlas. Adam Gavlas back as well on the PDC tournament. It's been a while since he's been away. Obviously, since he's in this tour card. I mean, again, Going Price. I don't know why I'm liking the look of Going Price at the moment. I've just got a little bit of an inkling about Gezi, and we'll talk about that more later on. Lucas Venig against Wesley Plazier. Again, a pretty tough one to call, to be honest. Venig, I think he's probably going to be fine in regards to his tour card. I think the Grand Slam run definitely held him out a lot, so I think he should be okay. And again, Wesley Plazier, we all know he can do well at Ali Pali. He's definitely not a bad player at all. But I think Venig, he's now got that TV experience. I think that probably will help him out in that one. Ryan Joyce against Owen Bates. Owen Bates as well. Looks like he's going to lose the tour card, which is a shame. But I'm more than confident he'll probably end up winning back in January. But yeah, to be fair, I think Ryan Joyce probably beats Owen Bates there. Now then, definitely the game of the opening round. Christopher Tyskie against Alexis Toilo. I know we're all ecstatic for this one. Obviously, these two played each other last year as well, actually. That was an absolute thriller. To be fair, right, with Toilo, he's not a bad player at all. He's really not. It's just his throwing techniques is not. It's just not for everybody. Myself included. And yeah, to be fair, I think Tyskie probably beat him, to be brutally honest. Stephen Bunting against Sebastian Bielecki as well. Bielecki had a good run against Rob Cross at the Players Championship Finals, which was good for him. Against Stephen Bunting, who, to be fair, hasn't had a good run of form lately. He's actually been pretty poor in the TV tournaments. So, he's getting the big one. But again, I think, like Chris Dobie, he always seems to do well at Ali Pali. So, I feel, again, it feels quite foolish to really back against him in that sense. Richard Vinstra against Nitin Kumar as well. Kumar with one of the best walk-ons in darts. Absolutely love his walk-on song. To be fair, he's not a bad player either, Kumar. He's definitely got a little bit about him. But I think, again, Richard Vince just probably going to get the job done in that one. Dirk van Duivenbode against Andy Bartons as well. He needs to keep hold of his tour card. He's going to stay on there. And to be fair, Dirk, he was having a good year up until recently, but he hasn't quite done well in the Euros or in the Mineheads. I think he's definitely overdue another TV run. And to be fair, I think he probably does beat Andy Bartons, that one. James Hurrell against Sto Bunce. Again, a pretty interesting tie-up, to be fair. We all know James Hurrell's capable of pulling off a big upset. Sto Bunce, same with him, really. To be fair, obviously made the quarterfinal of the Grand Slam a couple of years ago. But I think, again, yeah, James Hurrell, I'd probably back him to win that one. Martin Schindler against Stephen Burton as well. Martin Schindler, number 13 in the world now. He's moving up in life, Martin Schindler. And to be fair, I'll probably back him to beat Stephen Burton in that one. Keane Barry against Tim Poussey as well. Tim Poussey, we all love Tim Poussey for reasons. Unfortunately, you can't have his nickname at Ali Pali, which is a shame. And to be fair, he's not a bad player at all, Tim Poussey. Again, he's not a bad player. And again, it's a tough one, to be fair. It's quite hard to call. But I think Keane Barry's probably more equipped to win this one. If that makes sense. I think he might does win that one there. Ryan Searle against Chris Landman. Again, Chris Landman, he's a solid pair of hands. Chris Landman again, but I think Ryan Searle probably wins this one. Brendan Dolan against Tavis Dudeni as well. Dolan, he's had a rough year with his shoulder injury, stuff like that. He's not had a good year at all. Brendan Dolan, he's plummeting down the rankings. Again, he's defending a lot of money as well. Quarter-finalist a couple of years ago. He's got stuff to defend here. To be fair, I think he wins though. Dolan, he usually does alright. Again, another one who does okay at Ali Pali, so I'll probably back him to do well on that one. Johnny Clayton up against Adam Lipscomb. Again, actually a banana skin game for Johnny Clayton, actually, because Adam Lipscomb should have been in the quarterfinals at Minehead, but unfortunately, that had a mare against Darryl Gurney. Johnny Clayton, to be fair, since the Grand Prix, he's been pretty poor in the TV tournaments, to be fair. In the tournament where he needs to have a good run to be in the Premier League competition, I think it's important that he wins this game, to be fair. I think it could be a tricky one against Adam Lipscomb. I'll back Clayton to win, but to be fair, I wouldn't. I think this is definitely one where I wouldn't be surprised if Lipscomb won. I really wouldn't. Dom Taylor against Oscar Lukizak. Dom Taylor finally making his Ali Pali debut. It's been far too long for him. And honestly, to be fair, I'm definitely one of the people on the Dom Taylor hype train. I think you guys know that in my Mindhead predictions video. I'm definitely on the Dom Taylor hype train. So I think I probably will back him to beat Oscar Lekizak in that one. Michael Smith against Lisa Ashton. Again, this one could go either way, to be fair. I think it just depends what version of Michael Smith turns up, to be fair. Because Lisa Ashton, I mean, like, she took Van Veen to a last side decider, but then did not have a single double in the next 10 legs afterwards, you know, so in the Grand Slam. So it's a weird one. And Michael Smith did very well at the quarterfinal, get the quarterfinals of the Grand Slam, but then lost first round at Minehead, you know. I think it definitely does depend on who you just play Michael Smith. Against Lisa Ashton, probably just about Ash Buddy Boy in that one, I think. Although, again, Ashton could more than capable beat him. I think, again, in longer form, I think Michael Smith wins that one. Niels Zonneveld against Hopai Puhar as well as Zonneveld. To be fair, it's another pretty close one, to be honest. It's a tough one, that one. It really, really is. I'm going to back Zonneveld, I think, for that one. Again, Puhar, I wouldn't be surprised if he won that one. Ross Smith as well against Andreas Harrison. Ross Smith with a tough task in that one, to be fair. He's definitely got one of the harder games out of this for the seeded players. Harrison, you know, he's had a brilliant year on the Euro Tour when he's been playing. Could cause a huge issue for Ross Smith. To be fair, if Ross Smith isn't on it, which he hasn't been in the last sort of few months or so, it could be a tough one. But I think I probably will back Smudger to win this one. I mean, I think for me, this bottom quarter is definitely one for opportunity. For everybody here, to be fair, I think Ross Smith, I think, again, a player who's due a good run at Ali Pali. I think he could really make some grounds here. Thibaut Dricol against Motomo Sake as well. Again, this one could be pretty much 50-50, you could say, but I probably would fancy Dricol in this one. Dave Chisnell against Fallon Sherrick, definitely one of the ties of the first round. And I'll be honest, I'm probably going to back Fallon Sherrick to win that one. I know that could look silly, but Dave Chisnell, and this year's been a horror show for Chisnell. I think, you know, before, obviously, his floor form was what was keeping them up in the rankings, but now that's now fallen off a cliff as well. He's completely plummeted down the rankings now, Dave Chisnell. And yeah, I think, obviously, I'll probably back Fallon Sherrick to win that one, I'll be honest. Then finally, in the first half, Ricardo Petresco against Jose de Salza. You know what? It would be so good for everybody for Jose de Salza to win a game at Ali Pali, for all to keep his tour card, you know, for all time's sake. It would be so good. But I'm gonna be realistic here. Ricardo Petresco, last 16 last year, last 32 year before. He's in his third appearance at Ali Pali. He's normally won a couple of games. By the way, he's never been a seed either. By the way, he's always started first round anyway. I would love for Jose to win. Probably not though. Let's be honest. Moving on now to the last 64. Yeah, I had to think for a minute there. Littler against Van den Borgård as well. I think again Littler pretty straightforward. To be fair, I'm not going to say the same. To be fair, he's got a pretty decent opening couple of games there. To be fair, just to get him warmed up. I think normally, obviously, the first game as a seed and as the holder as well is definitely one of the most daunting ones. So I think once you get past those two, you're fine. I think once you make it past, you know, if you make it to the third round, you know, you're coming back after Christmas, you're pretty good, to be fair. So I think that's probably, I think that there's definitely been given a pretty kind opening two games just to really make sure. Bradley Brooks against Suljevic as well. Again, it could be a pretty tough one to call. I think again Bradley Brooks, for me, I think probably just beat Suljevic that one. Hetler against Barney, a pretty tough one to call, to be honest. There's not really much between them, to be fair. But I think Hetler probably will want it more than Barney. I think Barney's issue right now is just I just don't think he cares. Whereas Hetler probably, well, I imagine Hetler does, so I think that's probably what's going to get Hetler over the line in that one. Rob Cross against Ian White. Again, to be fair, this one could be a banana skin for Rob Cross against Ian White. Ooh, I don't know, to be fair, it's a tough one. I think Cross has been just had that awful year overall. I think, apart from a couple of World Series events, I think Cross has been pretty poor. To be Ian White, I think if he beats Decker, I think he'll probably feel a lot better So I probably would back on the beats Ian White in that one. Chris Dobie versus Cam Crabtree again, obviously reuniting after the meeting at Minehead with Dobie won 6-5. Have a longer format, it could be best of 15 essentially. If every single leg is played, it could be best of 15 to be fair. And again, I think set play. I think if I was going to back someone to get a job done in set play, I probably would back Dobie. I know I'm backing a lot of the seeds early on, which is usually a big mistake because normally a lot of seeds do exit early on. I don't know. It's new format though, isn't it? So it really could go either way, I suppose. Luke Woodhouse against Max Hopp as well. I mean, I like Hopp. I'm glad he's getting himself back up there. I think again Woodhouse probably beats him there. Going Price against Lucas Venig as well. Sorry, Lucas. I do like you as a player, but again, I've just got a little inkling about Going Price. I really do. Ryan Joyce against Christopher Tysky. Finally, I think a seed will lose in round 2 on this side. I think Tysky beats Ryan Joyce. And it's a pretty... I wouldn't really say it's a bold call for me. I think this is definitely a very close game. The what we think, a seed against non-seed. I think it's definitely closer than what we think. But I'll say I think Ratajski at the moment just about edges Joyce in form, in my opinion. So yeah, I'll probably back Ratajski to beat Ryan Joyce. Bunting against Venture again. I think both players are in great form right now. I think Bunting probably does beat Venture. Dirk against Hurl again. Hurl, he's more capable of pulling off enough to hit him. I think Dirk probably will beat him there. Martin Schindler against Keen Barry again. Keen Barry could do it against Martin Schindler, to be fair. I think with the high volume of Germans I do embark on Ali Pali, I think Schindler will have just about enough support to come over the line in that one. Ryan Seller against Brendan Dolan as well. I think Searle probably beats Dolan in that one, to be honest. Johnny Clayton against Dom Taylor. So to be fair, Johnny Clayton, he's probably had 2 of the toughest opening round games for Johnny Clayton. So if he's going to go on a run, he's going to earn it. I really want to back Dom Taylor to go on a run here, but I just can't see him beating Clayton. I really can't. Michael Smith against Niels Zonneveld. Again, I'm going to go with another seed to lose. I think Zonneveld beats Michael Smith, and also a pretty weird one. The fact that I think Zonneveld will beat him, but Ashton won't. I know there's not really any logic behind my thinking, to be fair, really, in these opening games. To be honest, I think this is more about who's a better player. I think although Smith, at his best, is a better player than Zonneveld. I think right now Zonneveld probably will have enough to beat Smith. The other Smith Ross Smith against Dracole. Again, Dracole could beat Ross Smith. That's one. I wouldn't be surprised if he did do that, but I'm probably going to back Smudger to win that one. Finally, Fallon Sherk against Ricardo Pietrezco. Now, this is where it gets interesting now, because Pietrezco, again, I think like Schindler will have the German backing and Ali Pali, but they'll all be behind Fallon Sherk. If this can also happen, if Chizzy does lose to Sherk and Ricardo beats Josie, I think Fallon Sherk will have a lot of the kind of... I think it could get pretty bad for Ricardo, to be fair. It could do. I think he probably does beat Fallon Sherk, but to be fair, the crowd will be... I think if he does win, it'll be in some weird circumstances, because the crowd will be against him. They really will. So I think I'll back Ricardo to beat Fallon Sherk in that one. But yeah, again, I think again that if this does end up happening, it could be pretty close. Now on to the last 32. Starting off with Littler against Brooks. Could be a great game this one, to be fair. It really could be. Again, you just can't look past Littler, can you, really? It's just like, come on, like, there's just no stop them overall, is there, really? Hector against Cross, 2 players who've had pretty poor years. Yeah, to be fair, the fact that they were both winning in the top 10 for ages, now they're barely hanging on to the top 16 is absolutely insane. Honestly, I think in this one, I think I'll probably... If I was going to back somebody, it probably would be Rob Cross to beat Hector. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to back Hector and try Cross to win that one. Dobie against Woodhouse. Again, I think this one could be a good game as well. But I think again, Dobie probably does get the best of Woodhouse in that one. Garen Price against Ratajski. Again, I probably would back Garen Price in that one. Obviously, running at Dirk Van Duijvenbode is an interesting one, to be fair. Because if Dirk's on it, Bunting's going to have a lot of issues, but then again, if Bunting's on it, then Dirk's not even going to be in the game. So it's a really tricky one, this one. I haven't really got... I don't think, although to be fair, there's 25 places between them in the rankings, I don't think there's actually much between them, really. Ooh, it's a tough one, this one. It really, really is. I back Bunting to beat Dirk. No, wrong one. I back Bunting to win that one, but again, to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if Dirk won that one. Schindler against Searle as well. It's a tough one, to be fair. There's not much between them, really. I think at the absolute best, in my opinion, Searle's better than Schindler. But again, that's in my opinion. Again, if the Germans are going to be an Ali Pali, they could really help Schindler out on this one, to be fair. I think I've got to back Ryan Searle for that one, to be fair. In my opinion, Ryan Searle's a better player than Martin Schindler. So I'll go with Searle to win that one. Johnny Clayton against Donneville as well. So Clayton's got a little bit of a easy game somehow. Then in the third round, he does the first round, is pretty insane. Again, Johnny Clayton, I'll probably back in beat Zonneveld. Finally, Ross Smith against Pietesco as well. I like Pietesco a lot, but I think if Ross Smith's on it, again, I'm trying to think if the player's going to be on it or not. So in that game, I probably would fancy Ross Smith to beat Pietesco. On to the last 16, Littler against Cross. Again, I wish it could be an easy one to talk about, but yeah, again, Littler, fairly confident he does beat Rob Cross in that last 16 game. Chris Dobie against Gowan Price. This game could be an absolute thriller, because both players always do very well. Obviously, they played each other in the quarterfinals last year, where again, Price arguably should have won had he not squandered all the doubles. But I think it'll be different this time. I think Gowan Price will get revenge on Chris Dobie. I think he will beat him in that 16 game. Stephen Bunting against Ryan at Searle. I like Searle a lot. I do think he's definitely a better player than what his ranking suggests. But I think if Bunting gets to this point, he'll be in a pretty good role. So I'll probably back in to beat Ryan Searle. Then finally, Johnny Clayton against Ross Smith. Again, a really tough one. It really, really is. But again, I think, to be fair, the two players who are both well overdue a good run at Ali Pali. I think neither have made it past the last 16 before, I don't think. Unless Clayton made the quarterfinal at one point, he might have done, but I'm fairly certain neither of these two have made it past the last 16 before. So it'll be new ground for both of them. But again, I think similar to Bunting, I think if Clayton gets to this point, I think it'll probably be on a good roll. So I'll probably put back the Ferris to beat Smudger in that one. Now then, quarterfinal time. We're now in 2026 in this simulation now, which is weird. Littler against Gowan Price. Littler's finally, after 4 matches, has finally got, in my opinion, a half-decent opponent. Because so far, he's had it pretty kind. I know Brooks and Cross are not bad players. I mean, if there's a proper opponent that actually will go head to toe with Littler. And honestly, to be fair, like I know I said this in the Grand Slam predictions video. It's rare that someone goes back to back in winning a major title, and it is. It's been like Littler is only the 4th time it's been done this decade when he went back to back in the Grand Slam. He's now got Gowan Price again. Gowan Price is probably, I think Price has faced Littler in every tournament so far. He's faced him at the Premier League, the Grand Prix, the World Series finals. Might play championship finals as well. Price is since before the Premier League finals night, Price had a better head against Littler than vice versa. Since then, Littler's absolutely battered him every single time. Well, battered him, you know what I mean? Like you know what I mean. Will Gowan Price finally beat Luke Littler when he should have beaten him at the Grand Prix? He should have done. Definitely one of the biggest upsets, in my opinion, anyway. Considering the fact that Gowan Price literally was there, matched darts. Does Gowan Price finally beat Luke Littler after such a long time where Littler has constantly beaten him in every single major since then? I'm going to say yes. It's a big call. I get it, it's a big call. I think Gowan Price in a World Championship quarter final beats Luke Littler. Bear in mind, Littler's lost once at Ali Pali. But he's only been there 2 years, but he's lost once against Luke Humphries. And I know Littler literally sweeps the floor of every major bar, like, what, 2? This year, or 3, sorry. God, obviously he didn't win the Masters either, did he? So he's usually clean sweep almost with majors this year, Littler. Getty Price hasn't even made a final of one since the Grand Prix 2023. You know, it's been a long time since he has done it. And I'm backing the Iceman to beat Littler at Ali Pali. Crazy. Then the other quarterfinal, which again it could be a tough game, but I think in comparison to Littler Price, probably not. Let's be honest. Buzzing against Clayton. Obviously, these two met at the match play quarterfinal where Clayton absolutely destroyed Bunting. And to be fair, I think it could be a similar score. And to be fair, I'll probably back Johnny Clayton to beat Bunting in a world quarterfinal, which means we have an all Welsh semi-final. Imagine that. Geraint Price against Johnny Clayton. For best of 11 sets. Who would win that one, eh? Who would win that one? Would Geraint Price make just his second world final, I believe? Yeah, the second one. He's 1-for-1, which is not my record, to be fair. Against Clayton, who's never even been at the semi-finals before, never mind maybe being in a final. Johnny, I think at this point, should Clayton make it to the semi-final, I think he probably does have a spot in the Premier League, I think. But he won't have a world final on his record yet. I think Geraint Price, if they won't meet in the semi-final, Geraint Price, for me, beats Johnny Clayton. Now, Geraint Price is the first player in my final. Who's going to join him? We've got a whole other side to do, guys. Let's go and do that now. Moving on to the bottom half of the draw. Thanks for seeing Thanks for seeing at this point, guys. I appreciate it. It's been a long video up to this point. I'm still only halfway through. But please do try and stay with me as fast as much as possible. Right then, Luke Humphries against Ted Evans. Evans back at Ali Pali after a while. I mean, to be fair, Luke Humphries and Evans know each other quite well. But Humphries is just going to absolutely trounce him, I think, isn't he, really? Jeffrey de Graaf against Paul Lim. Paul Lim as well, back at Ali Pali. I know everyone's excited about that one. Again, de Graaf, he's usually got a good little run in him at Ali Pali here and there. I don't know if it is just me being blinded by nostalgia or just blatant stupidity. But I'm going to back Paul Lim to beat Jeffrey de Graaf. And I know it's a weird one, but I'm gonna back it. I will. Vassalam against Karol Setoc as well. That's a tough opening round game, to be fair. It could, Evil Charlie's definitely capable of putting off a result there, to be fair. I think Nyman will just about win that one, I think. Gabriel Clemens against Alex Spellman. Alex Spellman, unfortunately, had a pretty rough group at the Grand Slam. He didn't quite show off what he's capable of doing, but I think as well, Gabriel Clemens is in pretty poor form right now, but again, he's got the experience of the big stage on the TV. He's got the German crowd behind him. I think he probably will win that one. Nathan Aspinall against Lawrence Logan as well, a tough one for Aspinall. Because the Logan, I think Aspinall, Ali Pali, I think it's going to be tough for whoever plays against him. I think because the crowd are going to be right on his side. I think Logan, he's a good player, but I think Aspinall probably will win that one. Mickey Mansell against Leonard Gate. I mean, is there a single first round tie that has a more polar opposite opponent? Like, literally, find me two players on the tour right now who are more polar opposite of each other than Mickey Mansell and Leonard Gate. Like this is just a fucking hilarious match. It really, really is. Mickey Mansell as well, another player I think is definitely more than capable of putting on a good run at Ali Pali at some point. But again, Leonard Gate, he's a fan favourite, but I think Mansell, I think Mansell probably does win that one, to be honest. Mike Decker against David Munya as well. Again, the Decker, he's another player who's due a run at Ali Pali, and I think he probably will win this one against Munya. I think Munya, it'll be his debut. He's not been there before. Yeah, I'll probably back the decker in that one. Kevin Dukes against Matthew Dennett, and Dukes can't play Michael Smith unless both players make it to the final, so it'll be intriguing to see how Dukes gets on without playing Michael Smith. I think he probably beats Dennett in that one, let's be honest. James Wade against Ryusai Asamoto, and Wade, Premier League stuff on the line, and if stuff happens in that first half where Clayton doesn't make the semi-finals, James Wade's got to get his finger out, and I think he will. I think Wade hasn't won at Ali Pali in a couple of years now, actually, so I think it'll be nice for him to get up and running once again. Ricky Evans against Manlock Lung as well, another brilliant game, which one could go either way, to be honest. Lung always does well at Ali Pali, he always has a good game against Ricky Evans, as well, he'll have the crowd on the side. He's in good form right now, Evans. I think I'll probably back him to win that one but it'll be a close one, I think. Now again, another close one, Cameron Menzies against Charlie Mamby. Again, Menzies now a seed at Ali Pali, but he's got Mamby for, again, that's definitely one of the tougher opening round games there for Menzies. And to be fair, I think he'll lose, Menzies, which is insane to think, because Menzies his TV form has just completely changed this year. He's been so much better on a TV stage right now. But again, it's been a while, to be fair. And, since the Grand Prix, it's been a while since Menzies really had a good run. And I don't know. I think Mamby. I do think a lot of people are sleeping on Mamby. I think he definitely is capable of winning this one. So I think he beats Menzies. I really, really do. Matt Campbell against Adam Savada as well. Again, this game could go either way. A battle of the North Americans. Campbell being the number one of all of North America, the one in Canada against the US number one, and Adam Savada. It's just a tough one. The call. Again, Matt Campbell's got the experience of playing at Ali Pali before. He's won against Savada. I mean, to be fair, Savada, I know he's a good player, but I've seen more of Matt Campbell to suggest that he probably will win that one. Jan Van Veen against Crystal Reyes. Reyes is finally back at Ali Pali. It's been so long since he's been back, but he's back. And to be fair, this game could be an absolute cracker. It really could. Van Veen yet to win at Ali Pali's 2 opening round defeats in the last couple of years. He's had some horror first round draws, Van Veen, and it doesn't stop here against Crystal Reyes. Yeah, this one could be a real banana skin for Gian. I mean, he's a different player now. He's won number 10. He's won a major. He's defending his World Youth title as well. On Reyes, he's a brilliant player. But I mean, I think Van Veen, for me, edges out one out just about. Alan Suter against Tiemu Haru as well. I think against Suter probably wins that one, I'll be honest. Dimitri Vandenberg as well. It's been a while since we've seen him at a tournament. I think first time since the UK Open, because he didn't even qualify for Minehead or the Grand Slam or anything. It's been a while since we've seen Dimmy on the TV stage against Darren Beveridge opening round game, which could be a banana skin for Dimmy. But I mean, to be fair, he's back. He said he's feeling good. I think we ought to trust him in that one. I think. Again, Beveridge, he's a good player. Beveridge, he really, really is. I'll back Dimmy in that one. I think just about. Again, to be fair, I won't be surprised if he lost, but I'll probably back Dimmy. Manders Rasma against Jemai van der Herrick as well. Rasma, again, I think he's got the experience at Ali Pali. I think he probably wins that one. Michael van Gerwen is back as well. Obviously, he didn't qualify for Minehead either, so it's been a while since we've seen MVG against Mitsuhiko's Satsunami as well. Van Gerwen, yeah, I think Ali Pali is the one tournament where Van Gerwen usually does well. I think there's been like 1 year where he's failed to reach the quarterfinals, so yeah, Van Gerwen, I'll probably back in that one. Willie O'Connor against Krzysztof Kachuk as well. Kachuk back at Ali Pali, obviously wasn't here last year, but he's back now against O'Connor, he's had a very good year. O'Connor, he's unlucky not to qualify for a couple of tournaments actually. So yeah, I'll back O'Connor, and then I think I'll probably back him to beat Kachuk in that one. Peter Wright against Nolan van Leuven as well. Again, to be fair, again, I think similar to Mickey Mansell and the Legation, 2 players are complete polar opposites of each other. It's a really good lineup there. To be fair, Van Leuven, I really think she could be Peter Wright in this one. I really do. Then Peter Wright, he normally does okay at Ali Pali more often than not. Yeah, I know he's had a couple of first round exits here and there. Obviously, I think he could be just about beats Van Leuven in that one. Kemai Brex against Arno Merck as well. Again, which I think could go either way. To be honest, I might just want to edge Kim in that one. Gary Anderson against Adam Hunt. Anderson needs calling out for himself to have a good run at Ali Pali this year. And then Adam Hunt, he beat Hector at Minehead a couple of weeks ago, so who knows. I think I'll probably back Gary to win that one. Kind of Scott against Simon Whitlock again. A game which could go either way. I think it does depend on who turns up that one. I think both players at absolute best are both good players. But I think if someone was going to play better right now, I probably would back Connor Scott to beat Whitlock. Sorry, Simon. I'll probably back Scott in that one. Jimmy Watmina against Dominic Grulich as well. I think Grulich, again, is a good player. I think for me, Watmina's in brilliant form. I believe he's only lost two of his last 20 games or something like that. That's absolutely insane how in form he is right now, Watmina. So I think I'll probably back him to be Grulich. Now for me, probably one of the ties of the first round where no seeds are involved. Scott Williams against Paolo the Breeder. This game could be an absolute corker. Two players who always do well at Ali Pali. The Breeder, he beat Rob Cross at the World Series as well. He's the first player to ever to beat a seed at Bahrain, which is a big achievement. Against Scott Williams, I think he's got money to defend. I think he probably beats the Breeder just in that one. I mean, to be fair, that one for me is a complete flip of the coin. But I back Williams. I'll probably back him to win that one. Danny Noppert against Jurjen van der Velde. Noppert, world number 6, the highest he's ever been on the rankings. I think for me, he really is in a good position to be in the Premier League next year. But I mean, Van der Velde's not an easy customer. But also sold the Grand Slam. He came out of the group with Dobie, Hector, and Lukman, so he's more than capable of getting a result. But I mean, for me, Noppert, he's although to be fair with Noppert, he's a player who never really done it at Ali Pali. He never really has. But I think this year could finally be the year where he's in good form. He's playing well. I think this could be the year where he really does kick on and do well at Ali Pali. Nick Kenny against Justin Hood. Again, two players who are both very, very good players in their own right. I believe this is Justin Hood's debut at Ali Pali. I believe it is, but against Nick Kenny, who's been here before. I think I'll probably back Kenny just because again he's got the experience. Really, I think Nick Kenny probably does beat Justin Hood there. Richie Edhouse against Johnny Tartar as well. Johnny Tartar at Ali Pali as well against Edhouse, who, to be fair, Edhouse, he's again, the player's not really had a good record at Ali Pali. Again, he's a seed this year as well. Ooh, with Edhouse, I don't know where Richie, to be fair. It's just, again, one player that's never really clicked from, to be fair. And I think Johnny Tartar could beat Edhouse in this one. I'm going to back Johnny Tartar to beat Edhouse, which is just I know it's bonkers, but it is what it is. Ryan Meikle against Jesus Salate as well. Salate, he's at the World Cup. I thought he was very, very good for Argentina. I thought he did very, very well. And honestly, I don't know why, but I'm fancying to beat Ryan Meikle in that one. I've got no idea why. There's no reason at all behind that. I've just backed Salate to beat Meikle. I just have. Josh Rock against Jermaine Hater as well. Josh Rock, again, another player who needs a good run here to really cement himself in the Premier next year. I think he probably does beat Jermaine Hater in that one. Nico Springer against Joe Comito as well. I think Springer, he missed Minehead through illness, but I think he probably does beat Comito. Daryl Gurney against Bo Greaves, it's been talked about as one of the ties of the opening round. And to be fair, sorry Daryl, I know he's a good player, but I think Bo Greaves at a debut at Ali Pali, she'll have the crowd on her side. I think for me, I think she should be Daryl Gurney. And finally, the final first round game, Callum Reds against Patrick Kovac. Callum Reds, it's him at Ali Pali. He's going to do well. There you go. So in total, I've backed only 5 seeds to lose first round, which is, as we all know, that never happens. There's usually at least half go in the first round. I've only backed 5, which it's a big number. But I mean, to be fair though, I think this time around, the top 32 have been given some kind first round games, which I think is the way that they have done it. But so I think it's probably expected for them to actually do well in those ones. So yeah, it's a lot, but you know, it is what it is. Moving on now to the last 64, Luke Humphries against Paul Lim. A great game, I'm sure it will be, but I think again, Humphries probably just beat Paul Lim in that one, unfortunately, for all the Lim fans. Russell Nyman against Gabriel Clemens as well. Nyman, I think, probably does beat Clemens in that one. Nathan Aspinall against Mickey Mansell as well. I think, although Mansell's throw could probably disrupt Aspinall a little bit, I think Aspinall will end up beating Mansell in that one. Mike Decker against Kevin Deuce. Again, this one could be an interesting one, I think. This one really could go either way, to be fair. I think I think judging on which player is probably going to be at the best, at the absolute peak, I probably would back to Decker to beat Deuce just about. I mean, again, it's a close one. It really is. I think I'll probably back to Decker in that one. James Wade against Ricky Evans. Now Wade, you know, he's had a good year. He's made a couple of finals. You'd think that's probably going to be enough to get him into the Premier League, but I mean, as we all know, it does come down to the Worlds normally, and yeah, I'll be honest, I'm going to go for a bit of an upset. I think if Evans beats Lung and obviously Wade wins, I think these two meet each other. I think Ricky Evans beats James Wade, which I know is a huge call. It really, really is. But yeah, I've got Ricky Evans to beat James Wade at Ali Pali, which is just insane. And to be fair, if that was to happen, I'd probably say that's probably going to be it for James Wade's Premier League hopes as well. It's just going to be insane. It really, really is. But it's my prediction at the end of the day. I think that could happen. Charlie Mamby against Matt Campbell. I probably would back Mamby in that one, to be honest. Van Veen against Tuta as well. I think once Van Veen gets past Reyes first run, I think it's probably he's got a decent run up to this point. So I think I'll probably back in to beat Tuta. Dimitri Van den Berg and Manos Razma as well. I think Razma right now probably would beat. I'll probably back in to beat Dimitri in that one. Van Gerwen against O'Connor as well. O'Connor, I like O'Connor. I think he's a good player, but I think Van Gerwen and Ali Pali's just going to be too much for him in that one. Peter Wright against Kim Harbrecht, literally like 8 years ago, like this was a Premier League lineup game, which is just insane to see how both players now, one of them are 30, one of them are 53. It's just absolutely madness to see how low these two have both fallen. Again, I'll probably back Peter Wright to be Harbrecht in that one, to be honest. Again, it really could go. I think it does. Honestly, it does depend on who turns up. I think Wright probably does beat Harbrecht in that one. Gary Anderson against Connor Scott. Sorry, Connor. I'll probably back Anderson in that one. Jermaine Watt-Mina against Scott Williams. Two players who are actually fairly similar players. Both similar playing style. Both can be quite hotheads on stage. And Watt-Mina is in brilliant form. I don't know why. Scott Williams, if he turns up, he'll give Watt-Mina a good game. Honestly, I'll probably back Williams just about to be Watt-Mina in that one. I know it's a pretty weird call. I get it, but yeah, I think I back Watt-Mina to beat Scott Williams. Danny Noppert against Nick Kenny as well. Nick Kenny I like Nick Kenny, but for me Noppert beats him. I'll be honest. Johnny Tartar against Jesus Salate as well. I think Salate probably beats Johnny Tartar in that one. Now Josh Rock against Nico Springer. What a game this could be, by the way. Especially for Rock, who as well, I mentioned before, he's got a Premier League spot on the line. Nico Springer in the second round. Bear in mind the Germans are probably going to be Ali Pali for this one as well. This game could be an absolute classic. It really could be, but I'm probably going to edge Rock in that one, just because I know Rock will. I know if it really does come down to it, I think Rock beats Nico in that one. And then Borgreaves against Canon Ridge as well. Great game between two players. I think for me, Ridge Ali Pali is just, yeah. Sorry, Bo. Great play, but I think for me, Ridge probably does beat her. Again, Ali Pali tax for Callum Ridge in that one. Last 32, Luke Humphries against Vessel Nyman. It could be a great game. It really could be. But I think now in this format, I think now what round 3 is going to be what the first 4 sets now. Yeah, Luke Humphries for me, I think we'll probably end up beating Nyman in that format. Nathan Aspinall against Mike Decker as well. Again, I think Aspinall probably will beat Decker in that format, to be brutally honest. Ricky Evans against Charlie Mamby, again, could be a great game. But I think I probably would back Ricky to win that one. Jan Van Veen against Magnus Rasmussen as well. I think Van Veen as well will probably beat Rasmussen in that one. Van Gogh against Peter Wright. I think again a pretty straightforward one there. I think Van Gogh probably beats Peter Wright. Gary Anderson against Scott Williams. I think this one it much depends on if Gary Anderson does turn up on first game after Christmas. Will Gary be up for it or not? And Scott Williams, normally it doesn't take him much to be up for these games, I suppose, doesn't it? So I'll probably be back again. I'll probably back Gary to win that one, just about. Danny Noppert against Jesus Salada as well. I mean, Salada makes this far, he's done very, very well. But I think Noppert, again, probably beat him in that format. And then Josh Rock against Callum Rids as well. I think Rids, although he also does well at Ali Pali, but I think his run will end in the third round to Josh Rock. Last 16, Luke Humphries against Nathan Aspinall. Yes, again this year. Honestly, these two have met each other so many times. It's ridiculous. Literally, Premier League played each other multiple times on the World Series, played each other multiple times. Grand Prix played each other. Grand Slam met each other as well. These two have played each other a lot this year on the big TV stages. And Humphries has gotten the best of Aspinall more times than not. I think Aspinall's only beaten them once this year. Sorry Nathan. I think again the last 16 runs probably pretty good. Again he's not defending much. So I think Luke Humphries will probably beat Nathan Aspinall in the first of 4. Ricky Evans against Jan Van Veen. Evans I think will do very well to get this far, but I think his run will be stopped at the hands of Jan Van Veen. Michael Van Gerwen against Gary Anderson now. I think their recent game at the Grand Slam definitely has helped me to make my mind about this one. I think when it comes down to it, when it really matters, I think Van Gerwen just has that one extra gear that Anderson doesn't, which is why I'm probably going to just about back Van Gerwen to beat Gary Anderson. And then now this game could be huge in the overall context of this and the Premier League and everything like that. Danny Noppert against Josh Rock. Bear in mind, both players are going to be in the competition for the Premier League. If both players get this far, bear in mind, which I believe will be the furthest either players managed to get at Ali Pali ever. If these two both get this far, I think the winner of this game should both players play together. I think the winners almost guaranteed themselves a spot in the Premier League. Considering the fact as well, I've already backed James Wade to lose early on here. I've backed Aspinall to lose last 16 as well, so that probably means he probably won't get in my opinion. Well, I've also backed Clayton and Button to both make quarterfinals on the other half as well. I think considering all those extra factors as well, again, should all this happen in this little simulation I've got running here on my fucking spreadsheet, this game could be absolutely massive. And although I like both players a lot, and in my opinion, I think both players should be in the Premier League next year. If I had to pick one player to win this game, it probably would be Josh Rock to beat Noppert in this one. Again, it'll be a big call, I'm aware. But yeah, Josh Rock for me beats Danny Noppert. Quarterfinal time, Luke Humphries against Jan Van Veen. Once again, these two play each other on the big TV stage. Van Veen's currently 2-0 up head this year. Obviously beat him at the match play in the first of 10 and then beat him at Minehead in the first of 6. However, quarterfinals, first of 5 sets could be a best of 27 legs. It could be. Yeah, it's a long format this time around. Where there's breaks in between, so that's not too bad. But we all know Luke Humphries. Once he's in the long format, it's very hard to beat him. It really, really is. I mean, to be fair, I think only Peter Wright managed it, and Luke Littler in the last sort of year or so. I was absolutely mad. Like you've got to catch Humphries early. If not, then he's going to be near the end. And again, Van Veen, to be fair, I think getting to the quarterfinals in his first time when he hasn't even won a game since, not bad going. But I probably would back Luke Humphries to beat Van Veen in that quarterfinal. I mean, to be fair, it'll be a fucking great game, by the way. First of 5 sets. Could be an absolute corker. And then the other one, Michael Van Gerwen against Josh Rock. Again, a tough one, because Van Gerwen, he does very well at Ali Pali normally, Van Gerwen. He really does. Um, don't know. I don't know. To be fair, Van Gogh has lost at the quarterfinals before, so it wouldn't be the first time that happened ever. Will Rock do it though? I think in my opinion, it depends on how Rock does. Because I think even if Van Gogh plays as absolute best right now, I think for me Rock's absolute best is better than Van Gogh's at the moment. I back Rock. Just again, I mean, to be fair, like in my opinion, like this half of the draw, especially in the latter half, is much more difficult than the top half draw, in my opinion. So that's what I've gone with there, which then leaves the semi-final. Luke Humphries against Josh Rock. Funny enough, like these two have hardly met each other on big stage. I think they've only played on the Euro Tour this year, and maybe on the floor. Other than that, I can't recall them playing each other outside of that. To be fair, which quite surprised me. I think Rock's played a little bit more. Yeah, after the match playing the Grand Slam. Humphries against Rock, semi-final, tough one. Again, although how good Josh Rock is, for me, it was semi-final. But bear in mind, Luke Humphries' record in semi-finals is almost immaculate. I believe he's only lost once ever. I think. Let me check real quick. I mean, yeah. To be fair, I mean, like, look at it. I mean, to be fair, in full-time darts, professional darts, Luke Humphries has literally only lost four semi-finals. He's won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. He's won the other 16. His record in semi-finals is absolutely immaculate. And bear in mind, he hasn't lost in semi-finals since the World Series finals 2 years ago. Since then, he's literally, he literally won his last 16 semi-finals in a row. He's absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, I think just for that, I've got to back Luke Humphries to beat Josh Rock, and that's semi-final. Which means my world final, in my opinion, will be Gerwyn Price against Luke Humphries. No matter what, one player will be winning their second world title. But who will it be? Will Luke Humphries reclaim his world title and his world number one spot? Because Littler, in my simulation, Littler has lost in the quarterfinal, which means Humphries already has taken back the number one spot. But will he reclaim his world title spot as well? I'm saying no. This now I'm aware that this could backfire tremendously, right? I'm aware of that. But I've been seeing the whole video. I've got a little feeling about Gerwyn Price. It's just a hunch that I've got that he could do. You know, it's been 5 years since the last world title. He's had a brilliant year. I think he could do it. I really do. And yeah, I think beating Luke Humphries in the World Finals can be tough. I mean, then again, Luke Humphries, he's literally lost, 3 finals this year in a row. Like, only Terry Jenkins has lost more finals in a row than Luke Humphries has. You know, it's absolutely insane. Yeah, I'm backing Gerwyn Price to become world champion for the second time in his career. The world number 9, by the mind as well, in this like simulation. World number 9 to be world champion. I believe he'll be one of the lowest ranked players to win it. I think Rob Cross is the lowest ever ranked player to win to be world champion. Because I think going into the final he was world number 20 at the start of the tournament. So yeah, for me, Gerwyn Price will win the world championship. It's a big call, I know, but it's what I'm going with. So that is it for my world predictions. Now, of course, as I said at the start of the video, I'm now going to go have a look and try and predict the Premier League lineup based on my predictions of this video. Now, I think everyone can agree that this is definitely one of the toughest lineups to call in a while, because there's so many players who could easily have a good shot at being in the Premier League. But if my world predictions did come off, I've gone with my 8, and I'll give my reasons behind it in due course. So of course, as you all know, the top 4 in the order of merit automatically qualify. So in my estimation, that would mean that Luke Littler, Gerwyn Price, Luke Humphries, and Michael Van Gerwen would be the top 4 in the world, and therefore them 4 would be automatically in anyways, which I think everyone kind of already gathered anyway, to be fair, especially with the 2 Lukes and MVG. It was just those final 4 positions which are all invitational and normally are based on the world predictions. So my other 4, again based on my predictions, I've gone from the world. I've gone with Johnny Clayton, Josh Rock, both semi-finalists. I think in my world predictions, and again both players have very good years overall as well. So I think it's probably well deserved. Stephen Bunting and Gian Van Veen, that's my 8. Now, I know, obviously notably James Wade, Danny Noppert, Nathan Aspinall, probably the 3 notable absentees, probably more so Noppert and Wade than Aspinall, let's be honest. Now, to be fair, I've got Bunting in there. Now, and I'll be honest, in my opinion, obviously, I think now based on the whole thing, I think Bunting would be like world number 7 now due to the results elsewhere. I think he would be world number 7, and I think currently 5, Rock will be 6. But yeah, I've got Bunting as well, which in my opinion, he doesn't deserve it, Stephen Bunting. But I think just because, I think in my eyes, if you can't have Nathan Aspinall, which I think's likely, I think unless Aspinall has a brilliant run, he won't get in this next year. I really don't think he will. I think if you don't have him in, you've got to have Stephen Bunting in. And again, I don't think Bunting would deserve it based on his TV form. I mean, after I said he's won Pro Tours, he's won 3 Euro Tours, he's won on the World Series. So off the big TV tournaments, he's done very well. But on TV, he's been pretty poor this year, I'll be honest. And again, I personally wouldn't have had him in otherwise. But logically thinking of the PDC as well, and I think of the PDC, would the PDC have 3 Dutchmen in the 8? Which I don't think they would. I think they would only have 2. And I think based on anything, I probably would. On the fact that Van Veen's won something and Noppert hasn't, I think that's probably why I'll probably have Van Veen over Noppert. I mean, to be fair, it's harsh on Danny Noppert. It really is. As I think personally, if it was up to me, I would have Noppert over Bunting in my 8. But I'm trying to think of what the PDC would do as well, which is why I've gone with Bunting over Noppert. There's all James Wade, 2 finals he's made this year. Again, hasn't made it in. I mean, again, I've got him to lose the 2nd round of the World, which would harm his chances. But I mean, again, if Wade goes on a good run, I've got no doubt he probably would be in. But yeah, that's my 8. Which again, to be fair, it's definitely a list. I think it's definitely one of the more unique. I believe it's got the fewest number of Englishmen in about only 3 English players, which is actually quite a few compared to what I think like last year. I think like had 6 this year. So yeah, it's definitely quite a few. But I mean, to be fair, in my opinion, that'll possibly be quite a good Premier League in my opinion. So who knows? But yeah, guys, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank for watching up to this point. I've been recording for well over an hour now, and it probably won't be quite that long. But I really do appreciate you guys, watching up to this point if you have done. So yep, that's for me. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you all next time.